episode of Faith Walk, the intersection of life and faith. Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. It is another beautiful, glorious day in the neighborhood, in the world, because we woke up today, and that makes it a good day. And even for those who didn't wake up today, it's still a good day because every day that God makes, creates, is a good day. And again, welcome to Faith Walk, the intersection of life and faith. We are starting what do I want to call it? An amazing, wonderful series tonight on the Black woman. Now, just saying Black woman is, how do I want to say it? Is a mouthful. Let's just say that, because there's so many complexities and unique qualities and nuances of the Black woman and of every woman, absolutely. But this series is specifically about the Black woman, and we're going to get into all of those complexities and nuances starting tonight. And tonight's general topic is being a Black woman. In future episodes, we will be addressing, such as next week, Black women and their fathers, whether there was an absentee father or whether the father was in the home, and what the result of that relationship is like, or lack of relationship, and how that affects a woman's life, a Black woman's life, as well as the single mother, the single Black mother, the single woman, the educated Black woman, the independent Black woman. All of those are going to be future episodes in this series every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on these upcoming Wednesdays. So we hope that you join Sandra and myself for this series, because it's going to be fantastic. And you don't just have to be a Black woman to watch this, because you interact with Black women, and those of you who are Black or aren't Black but have Black relatives, Black family members, Black friends, or you just want to be educated about Black women if you're a non-Black person. This is a great show series to watch so you can become educated about the Black woman, because there's a lot of misinformation I hear on social media and other places about the Black woman, making things, simplifying and generalizing the Black woman, when there's so much more to us than just a generalization and just someone's opinion, and not knowing the full backdrop. And so therefore, painting a broad brush over Black women as a whole. And so we want to dissect the Black woman and share, like I said, the complexities and the nuances of Black women, so we can break that stereotypical view that many people may have of Black women, so we can get our just due, and we can let you know that our esteem is in partly who we are as Black women, as well as those of us who walk by faith and are Christians. Our personhood, our image, our likeness, our being, and who we are comes from who God says we are, right? And so what someone else might try to do, someone else might try to say about us, if we are strong enough in our faith and strong enough in our esteem, those words won't have any effect on us, because of the word, other people's words only have effect on you if you give them power, right? The devil only has power over us when we agree with him. So if you call me out of my name, I'm not going to agree with you. So therefore, your words do not have power over me. And too many people, including our own race, our own ethnicity, call us names other than who we actually are. You can hear it in music, specifically rap music. And I'm not downing rap music. I like some rap music, but there's a lot of rap music that puts Black women down. I'll just leave it at that. And that's not who we are. Some of that might have been our behavior, but we are not our behavior. And so we want to demystify, destigmatize, and degeneralize what we typically hear in the media about Black women. So we're doing this series, and we're going to talk a lot about it. And again, we're going to break it all down. And we want to hear your view and your opinion on, if you are a Black woman, your experience as a Black woman, and if you are a non-Black woman, your experience with Black women. And today I have 5 questions that I'm going to ask the audience. And I know thus far, most of the people who watch, at least who are watching live, are Black women. So I want to ask these Black women specific questions and be interested to see your answers, to hear your answers. Also, if you're watching on the replay, please answer the questions as well, because we go back, Sandra and I, we go back and we look at the feed, and we then respond to the questions or the comments that people make when they watch it on the replay. So please watch it on the replay, answer the questions, and engage with us like that. So before we get into the heart of the matter, this is again Faith Walk, the intersection of life and faith. And tonight is the first night of our series on the Black woman. And tonight is being a Black woman. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching via YouTube. Like the Facebook page if you're watching via Facebook. And it's Full Life Communications on both platforms. Just click the button right now. Click the like button to like the video. It just takes a second, doesn't cost you anything. So let's take a moment and click it right now. I'll wait. Just click the little thumbs up, and that says you like the video, and that helps the algorithm for the show to get in front of more eyes than just the people who are watching the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Facebook page as well. So let's see who's in the comment section already. Let's see if Ayana has beat everyone here. Honey Bunches, she's number one. Hey, Honey Bunches, how are you? Aisha, you're number two. Aisha, you're slacking. Your sister got you. You were neck and neck. You had those horses. Better get those horses back out, Aisha. Love you, Aisha. Honey Bunches says, I love being a Black woman. Yes, so do I, Honey Bunches. And Kevin says, I'm ready to learn. Yay, Kevin. Thank you for being our resident Black man, ready to learn. And we are, Kevin, going to do a series on the Black man. So maybe you could be a guest on our show when we do a series of on the Black man. I would love to have you as a guest. So, and anybody else who wants to be a guest, fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. Just email me and put guest in the subject matter, and I will get in touch with you about being a guest on whatever topic that we might be talking about. I'm every woman. Yes, you are, Sharon Baldwin Montgomery. Love you, girl. And let's see. Akila says, hello. Hey, Akila, how are you? Love you and miss you. And let's see who's next here. Hey, Lashonda, thank you for joining. You were, I think, about 2 or 3 episodes ago, and you've been a faithful viewer ever since. Love you, Lashonda. Thank you for joining us every week. You are a resident member now. Kevin said I would love to join. Yay. So I'm going to take it as a yes, Kevin. So email me at fulllifecommunications@gmail.com, because I might not remember. I'm going to put the email address up on the screen right now. So this way, if you didn't, anybody can write it down. If you didn't get what I said, I'll leave it up there for a few seconds. So yes, fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. If anyone would like to be a guest on the show, email me there and put guest in the subject matter. And we have many subjects that we talk about on this platform. But again, this is a series right now, the Black woman, and after this will be the Black man. And we're going to combine in both the Black family. And we've already done some episodes on the Black family. So I love that you guys are so engaged, so appreciated. So let's get into the conversation. All right. So there's so many, like I said, nuances and complexities to Black women, and so many things that have been said about us that's derogatory, right? And so I'm not getting so much into the negative. There's negatives about every ethnicity, every race of people, everything in life. There's the negatives and there's the positives. Not so much getting into the negatives per se tonight, but we will get into how maybe some of the things that are not so good can be better. And we talk about that all the time on here, how we can better our mental health, our behavioral health, our emotional health, and all of that. But I think sometimes people tend to, and this is not just with Black women, but we're just talking about Black women tonight, people tend to speak out of what they don't know. And haven't we all done that, if we're going to be honest? Right? We're just judging someone from what we just see from an interaction, or maybe several interactions, but we don't really know that person's history, and we've made a judgment. But that's not good. And so with the Black woman, there's a lot of judgments that have been made. And I'm sure you all can rattle off at least 5 or 10 just by thinking about it in the moment right now. that how Black women have been labeled. Like I said, just listening to music, you can rattle off several labels just by thinking of a rap song. But again, that's not who we are. We may even behave in some of those ways, but behavior does not say who I am, because I can change my behavior, right? But the essence of who I am, that's not going to change. So we may all act out in different ways, but do we want to be labeled as that? Especially as we, grow from an infant into adulthood, I hope that we change our behavior, because what I did when I was younger, some of the things I hope I'm still not doing at the age I am now, because I've matured, I've grown, I've learned some things, I've become wiser. So I don't want to be labeled by my behaviors. That's who I am. It's not who I am. That's what I did. And that may be what you did, but that's not who you are. And I think that's where the misnomer comes in. We become labeled by what we have done. That's my behavior. That's not who I am. So let's get that nuance straight right there. And again, this is with anybody, but we're specifically just speaking about Black women tonight. So let me just rattle off a few things that I jotted down regarding Black women and celebrating Black women. And then I'm going to ask the audience, you all, questions that I want you to answer, and you put it in the chat, and then I'm going to read your answers. But as I'm reading off these things, also put in the chat what comes to your mind when you think about being a Black woman. Okay, so I'm just going to rattle off a few things. So I'm going to read what I wrote down because I wouldn't remember it all off the top of my head. So our strength, our resilience, our swag, because we do have swag, our beauty, our style, our uniqueness, our experiences as being the mothers of the world, being leaders in our community, in politics, in voting, because Black women vote more than Black men, in education, our leadership in the community in education, breaking the glass ceiling in corporate America, leaders in starting small businesses. Black women are the backbone of the church, the backbone of the Black church. There's more Black women in the Black church. And we know church isn't really a color. There's no color of people in heaven, right? There's no Black church and white church in heaven. But this is where we live. And so this is what we're talking about. So in the Black church, there's more women than there are men. So we are the backbone of the Black church. Our hair is so unique, and that's a whole 10 episode show on its own. But our hair is so unique, it's so dynamic, it's so diverse, it's so beautiful. And it's so beautiful, people want to emulate it, right? So our body parts are sought after, right? Our lips, our backside, our butt, our behind, whatever you want to call it. Our skin color, people go to get tans, right? Because they want to look darker. Our hair, again, people want to get braids and different things. That's, a part of our culture. And that's cool. But just saying, we're sought after for those things about how we look, as well as our cultural things. But nobody wants to be us. Nobody wants to have our story. Nobody wants to live out the story of a Black woman. But I want to look like you, and I want to appropriate your culture, but I don't want to really be you. Okay. I'm going to stop right there with that. And it's been said that Black women, that we walk like we're going somewhere, that we walk like we have purpose and destination in our walk. And that's the swag about our walk, because we do have purpose. We are purpose, right? God made us with purpose. And so therefore we walk with that purpose, that pride, that destination in mind of where we're going. All right. And the strong faith of a Black woman. Now that one right there. And I know, again, many of these things we can say about all women of all ethnicities. And I'm just talking about Black women tonight. And I'm not saying what I'm about to say is true, but the strong faith of a Black woman seems like it's the faith like no other person, woman, man, pet, whatever. Because I think it's because of what Black people have been through. And then women more so with that intuitive nature about our faith. I think it's what we've been through in the United States, meaning slavery and so on, that our faith is what got us through and what has gotten us through so many trying times in this country and other countries as well. Because I know, our viewers are international. So I think it's what we've been through. When you've been through something, you go through life different and it shows. And I believe the faith of a Black woman has taken us so far and so wide, and it is so deeply rooted in us that it's different. And people see it differently. You can't persuade a Black woman out of her faith in Jesus Christ. Not a Black woman who's really had an experience and knows her God. So I just wanted to let that one be the last one, because I think that's the one that's the most powerful, especially those of us who are believers. And I'm going to, once Sandra Lee comes on in a little bit, I'm going to put up a scripture, and we're going to talk about that scripture that's going to help us break down how we are, how God sees us and who we are, and how we should be treating one another as well as ourselves, and especially as how we look at Black women. I want people to walk away from this show tonight looking at Black women differently, not using those stereotypes, not using those words that are derogatory and dismissing us like we can just be so easily discarded. I want you to see us differently, the essence of who we truly are, not what you may have read, not what you may have seen on a television show that the media has designed to give their perspective, their view of, depending on how they want us to look. We want to give you the real deal as Black women speaking to you right here today, live and on the replay. We are real Black women coming into your household. This is not a show that is scripted. And we're going to be honest. We're not sugarcoating anything, because again, there's many facets, good, bad, and ugly. But again, we are multifaceted. We're just not one dimensional. And so we need to understand that, and we need to speak to that when we're speaking about the Black woman. And we need to put some respect on the Black woman's name. Bottom line, especially in our own community, we need to respect the Black woman more than we do. Even when the Black woman might not respect herself, encourage her, lift her up. Because the bottom line is, when you see a Black woman not respecting herself, there's a story behind that. There's an unresolved, you're going to hear me say this every week, because that's what it is. There's an unresolved issue there. There's a mental health issue there. And I'm not talking about a diagnosis. I'm talking about trauma. I'm talking about issues that have occurred in that young woman or older woman's life, and emotional trauma at minimum. And not that is a minimal thing, but at minimum, as opposed to, say, sexual abuse, physical abuse, those types of things. Emotional abuse comes with all of that, but it can stand alone as well. So when we see a Black woman not respecting herself, let's not judge her. Understand there's a story behind that. And we need to help encourage her by respecting her when she can't even respect herself. Do you know how much that would do to that woman when you show her respect and she feels so lowly about herself that she can't even respect herself? That's what we should be doing to everyone, as opposed to speaking out of our own emotion or out of our own trauma, right? But we have to become healed. So the Black woman needs healing just like everybody else. But you need to see her in that light. She's a broken, flawed being that needs healing, just like everyone else. She's no different. We're no different. So stop treating us like we're different in that respect. All right, so let me go to the chat because I did ask you guys to write down some things that just came off the top of your head regarding the what I asked you to do. With that, whatever came to your mind thinking about Black women. Let's see, who's this? Darlene. Hi, Darlene. How are you? Good to see you tonight. Darlene also says women in general, not just Black women. Absolutely, absolutely. And Gwen says, great evening, family. Hi, Gwen. How are you? Thank you for joining us this evening. I totally forgot that I still had the tickler on the bottom of the screen, so let me take that off. And let's see. Who is this? Honey Bunches says, I was just typing to say that exact thing. Our hair. Yes. Let's see. The versatility and creativity. Our hair is one of my favorite things about being a Black woman. I hear you, Honey Bunches. Kevin says they want the parts, but not everything that comes with it. Absolutely. What's the lady's name? Jane something. She specializes in Black, white issues. You guys have probably seen her all over the internet. She's older now. She did this experiment with Black and white kids when they were younger. You guys know. And she asked, and this is a separate thing. She went, and when she was doing one of her workshops, she asked the audience, how many of you, and it was a white audience. It may have been some Black people in the audience, but it's primarily white. How many of you, knowing what you know, would want to be a Black person? How many people do you think raised their hands? How many white people do you think raised their hands? Zero. Zero. Right. Because they know. They wouldn't want to be us because they know what happens to us. Right? They see it. Some of them are perpetrators of it. And that's what she was trying to her point was, you see all of this that's going on. You condone it by your silence or by behaviors. And so you know it's wrong. That's why you wouldn't want to be them. But Jane, she's wonderful. When I think of her last name, if anybody can think of her last name, I'm sure many of you in the chat know. Put her last name up there for me. Darlene Pin. Hi, Darlene. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, I did already say hi to you, Darlene. I just saw your name come to the top too. Okay, so those are some of the things that I thought of just off the top of my head. So now I'm going to ask you all some questions, and I want you to write your answers in the chat. And as you're answering that, I'm going to bring Sandra Lee on. So the first question is, and I think Ayana may have already, Honey Bunches may have already answered this. So what do you like most about being a Black woman? Let me take this comment off. What do you like most about being a Black woman? So Kevin, you can't answer this one. Sorry. You can write maybe what you like most about Black women. So what do you like most about being a Black woman? Put that in the chat. Sharon Barwell Montgomery says, what is this? Capillaries that reach deep, nurturing the whole tree. The tree cannot survive without them. Absolutely. They surely cannot. They can't survive without us. We've been nurturing the world since the beginning of time. And when we speak about the United States, we've been nurturing babies, white babies, since we were brought to this country as the nannies of the slave master, right? So we've been nurturing everyone since the beginning of time. Netta says, hi, everyone. Hi, Netta. All right, so Gwen says her answer is, what do you like most about being a Black woman? Our strength. We are some strong women. You have to be strong for what we go through, although sometimes I'm sure we don't feel strong. Just because we go through so much, it's hard sometimes to feel strong. It's just like, does it ever end? Can I get a break? Can I get some help? But we keep it moving. We keep it pushing. And that's because we're strong and we're resilient. Thank you for that answer, Gwen. And I'm going to, okay, Sandra Lee, I'm really going to bring you up. I'm going to put the next question up really quick because we know how time goes by so quickly. The next question is, what has been the most challenging experience of being a Black woman? The most challenging experience of being a Black woman. And now, while you guys are answering that, please put your answer in the chat. I'm going to bring Sandra Lee up. And let's see here. Before I bring you up, Sandra, I want to get this question, this answer. Amira says the versatility of style. Black women are the blueprint of everything that is cool. Yes, Amira. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we are. Love that comment. All right, Sandra Lee, I'm really bringing you up now. Hey, Sandra Lee, how are
Hey, I'm doing
you?
just fine. I am just fine.
Good.
Wow,
Now,
what a top.
Sandra, our topic tonight is being a Black woman.
Okay. All
And
right.
this the first day of the Black Woman series. I'm not sure, how much you can really speak to being a Black woman because I'm not really
What do
sure
you
of your ethnicity. So really, what is your ethnicity? Because I've been with
I'm a
you in
black woman,
situations
honey.
and people are saying, calling you this, calling you that.
They
And I'm like,
do.
is she really Black? I'm like, why is he calling you your sister, his sister? Why is she calling?
Listen, I do have one of those kind of faces. I don't know between the nose and the hair. I can go in and out of a whole lot of areas, but guess what? If you want to know what I am a black woman. Period.
Okay.
Okay. And
All right, all right. So
you
you
asked the
cleared that
question.
mystery up.
What'd you say?
You cleared that mystery up.
Baby, listen, I'm gonna let you know. I know I look like a lot of different people, a lot of different ethnicities, but guess what?
Yes.
Like I told somebody, I got a black mama, I got a black daddy. I'm a black woman. Okay.
Okay.
But
Well, that's all you need.
that's all you need. And
All
so
right. Let me
the
hold
thing
on,
is,
Sandra, before you say that.
okay.
Honey Buncher says sometimes it's challenging to take up space when I'm the only Black woman there. Yes, that's been my experience all my life in school, being one of the only Black people in elementary school. My school was all Black, but then I went to private school after that, and I was one of the only or one of a few Black people. And in college, in my classes, and in college, and in college. So that's been my experience. Lashonda says, and this one we were talking about one of the things that we love about being Black, wisdom. Yes, 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 yes. Wisdom, the wisdom of a Black woman. Sharon Baldwin Montgomery says, Sandra, from where? Sharon knows. Sharon knows.
Yes, you know they know the
Oh,
story, honey.
that's
They
funny.
know the story.
They know the story.
Yeah, they
So,
know the
Sandra,
story.
what's
They
one of
know
the
the
things
story.
that I put up two questions? Things you like best or most about being a Black woman, or some of the, and what some of the challenges of being a Black woman?
Whew. We are so powerful. We
Yes,
just we walk in a room and just the presence of a black woman,
yes.
it just exudes strength, right?
Hmm.
And so that's why you hate the fact that people always see black women and they say, oh, the angry black woman, or we're not approachable. But that's just not true. You may have some women that are not approachable and they just so happen to be black, but that is not all black women. And so I love to walk in a room and it's just like, she is there, the power, everything just lights up, right? And then you
Hmm.
talk about the challenges is being, because you are black, and so I've worked in corporate America, and when I worked in corporate America, when they wanted things to be said, they would come to who they felt was uh, the person that would say it without feeling like uh, there was an issue. So, case in point, we had a diversity council, and one of the issues at American Express at the time, they were hiring and elevating black women, yay, but they were leaving the black males at just a regular customer service representative position, right? No growth, no growth. And so I was a part of BN, which is Black Network. The folks that was at American Express. It was a Black Employee Network. And so I was a part of the Black Employee Network as well as the Diversity Council. And so the CEO at the time, they wanted the voice of the people. And so they called me as the voice of the people. Now, I am a person that, I'm funny, I'm friendly, but I also will drop it down low and have this conversation in this voice. And I'll let you know what it is that need to be said, and do it with dignity, do it with pride, and sound like I know something, right? And then I can also cut up and go the other way and sound like I don't even know my ABCs. But that's not the point. The point is I represent it. And so I had to talk to the folks on the floor about what is going on. Why are we having this racial issue, right? And it was because at the time they just were not elevating or giving positions of power to the Black males. And so, of course, when I went in the meeting professionally, went in, told them in management what needed to happen, and of course, it started happening. But they knew that they were going to get the job done if they came to the Black woman, right? Because I could say it because they're comfortable enough to say it to me, right? And so it's just that challenge that you're in sometimes when it's like, oh, well, we need to tell the people to stop doing this, that, or the other. Let's get the Black lady over there. She's loud. Let's get her and bring her over there. She could do it. And so that's kind of a challenging a situation where you are, I'm gonna say, stigmatized in a sense, because if people think that you're loud and kind of full of drama or start drama or like drama, then that is one of those stereotypes that I think that Black women, have. And do we know how to go there? Of course, but we're not the only ones. That's why they started the name Karen, because people got their things, right? And that's
Right.
another topic for another day. But I think the challenge is just letting people see that we're not all angry Black women that's loud and mean and start trouble and ready to fight. That's not us. We love people. We're the ones that will bring in any race of people into our homes, feed them, clothe them, and nurture them back to health. That's what we do.
Right.
We do.
And we're not moving out of neighborhoods when certain races move in.
No,
Right.
we welcome them.
Right. We're welcoming them in. We have
Exactly.
another comment from your mother, Sandra Lee. She says,
Okay.
I know too, Sandra, and she knows too because she's my mother who has been mistaken for Asian, Spanish, and white.
Yes.
My brother even thought my mother was white when we were growing up. So there you go. He said, Mom, why are you white and the rest of us are Black? True story.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, we
Oh my
still tease her to today.
Right.
Amira says, let's see. The most challenging thing is sometimes being positioned to be the representative for all Black women everywhere. Black women are not a monolith. That's right. We are not one dimensional. We are multifaceted, multidimensional. We are unique. We are diverse. We are
Yeah.
different. But so is everyone. So why should we be labeled anything different?
Right.
That's the thing. We all have these differences and greatness and great qualities about us. But Black women are the most, it's been said that Black women are the most unprotected women of all the races.
Let's say it.
It is sad. Okay, so I'm going to ask the next question. I'm going to read this because it could be a little bit confusing.
Okay.
So this says, what do you think makes Black women so unique or different? Or are we so different from other women? Or is that just how we've been labeled and we simply wear that label well?
That's a big combo question. My Lord.
That's
It's a
why I
complex
wanted to read
combo.
it out loud.
Oh boy.
Are we really different or do we just wear the label well? We're not different. We each individual person, yes, God made us all different. We have different purposes and things of that nature, but we're all created in his image and his likeness, right?
Yeah.
We're all created by the same creator. We have our individual differences. We have cultural differences, but
Right.
you bleed red blood just like I do. Your
Yeah.
feelings get hurt just like I do,
Yes,
like
they do.
mine. Right.
Right,
We put
right,
on our pants one leg at a time. Some people might jump in them, but you're still human.
right, right,
Jumping with both legs. Right. I don't know. But
right.
as
Right.
human beings, we're created the same with our differences. So I
Mhm.
just think we wear the label well, but we're not different. We're just looked at as different, because people love to divide,
Right,
right? So let me divide you by saying you're different than others, and then I can bring down your self-esteem if I say that, right? And make you feel bad about yourself and your difference because my skin color is different, because maybe my hips are bigger, my lips are bigger. But you know what? That's those hips and lips you want, but you don't want to walk in my shoes. But again, we're not going there, right? So what do
right.
you guys think? Do you think that um we just wear it better, or are we different? Let's see. We got some comments here, Sandra. While you're thinking,
Oh, that's
um, let's see. Gwen says we are every woman. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. And Wanda, hi Wanda, how are you? Wanda says, Sandra, I love your mother. How old is she? That wasn't really her mother. That was my mother, Wanda. I just said that because they're in the same group of people not knowing what their ethnicity is, so what their
right.
race is. So I call her my mother, Sandra's mother, and Sandra's her daughter because I'm not in that bunch. People know I'm black. When I was younger, I did kind of get mistaken for Puerto Rican, but everybody, I'm black, and people know it.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
two,
yeah, yeah.
kind of skeptical. They say they're black, but oh my gosh. And
Oh my God.
mom, correct me if I'm wrong,
84.
85 or 84? 84. She's 84, Wanda. That's my mom. Okay. Amira says, I think the uniqueness is bred from adversity. Yes, that's what I was saying earlier, about our faith. Is that adversity does something to you, right?
Yes.
And I'm always teasing Sandra Lee about gospel music versus, to say, regular, if we're going to go Christian music, where gospel music may have more, say, black artists, and just say standard, if you will, Christian music may have more white artists, but a blend in both, obviously. And how I tend to think the gospel music has, with the black people singing the gospel music, you can tell they've been through something. It sounds like it sounds like you've been through something, like
Right.
slaves are singing it, right? Now, I'm not saying the quality of the singing, yes, but it takes you to it can take you to a depressed place, right? It can take
For
you to a
you.
place of, oh yeah, I remember that struggle. That struggle is real. But I'm praising the Lord, right? But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the struggle. You know what I mean? Because
Glad I made it.
where our faith comes from, right? Our struggle and
Right.
a lot of adversity. So yes, Amir. Whereas when you hear some of the other music, say by the white artists, not that they haven't been through anything, but they haven't been through what we've been through. So theirs sounds more, what's the word, Sandra Lee? More like
Airy. Like air.
airy, airy, and like life is great.
Yes.
And again, not saying that white people have their trauma and everything too. Not saying that, but it's just different. And so there's
Yes.
an undertone with that gospel music, right?
Yes.
Oh man! All right,
Give me
Wanda.
that God. Give me
Also,
that good old gospel anytime.
oh, I love me some gospel music now. Wanda says that's the way we were taught back in the day. Absolutely. Honey Bunches says, I agree, Amira. And Netta says, click it right, Sharon. True, Sharon. True, true, true. What about you not being black, mom? Okay. Amira says, I think it's the social element of it. Black women have to work harder or show up better just to be viewed as equal. You ain't said nothing but a word right there. We
Right
got to
there.
be 10 times better in everything
Right there.
and in order, to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized, to be respected. On and on. And sometimes we're still not even respected.
Right.
Netta says, yes, 85 in September. Praise the Lord for
Yeah.
84 and a half years,
That's
84 and three quarters probably. And let's see, Wanda says, amen from the heart. All right, thank you guys for commenting. Sandra, did you have a comment about this question, or no, I don't want to overlook you.
well.
I'm gonna put the next question up while you're thinking.
Well, Sharon, I'm gonna say the same, but there's now this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but the same in reference to some things, but different just in the swag that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't even know how to put my hand on it, but it is a difference. I think it's just the swag or something, but I don't know. But same, of course, because you know, we all bleed red blood. You know, we all go through what we go through. We all cry. We all laugh. We all go through whatever we go through. But it's just something.
Yes.
Maybe the swag, or I don't know. I can't put my hand
I
on it,
think it's
but
the
I'm gonna say
swag. I think it's
same,
the swag.
different,
Yeah. I don't know if I
same
said
but
it to
different.
you. Now, I don't have an example of this of off the top of my head of a black woman, but I just saw it on social media, so I'm gonna bring it up. Former President Barack Obama. They were talking about his swag, right? And they just
Yeah,
showed a couple different clips of him walking down the street. Once he was playing basketball, he's coming out of a hotel room,
I saw
not
that.
room, coming out of a hotel with his
Uh,
security, da da da. And he wasn't doing anything. He was
it was
just
that walk.
walking, but he just had that swag
That
with his walk, right?
swag,
And it
baby.
wasn't no deep stroll or nothing, but it's just us.
It's
It is
something.
just
I don't know.
us. He wasn't trying, it was just being him. And it
Right,
was
right.
like, I see you, brother. Oh my
It's
goodness.
just the way it is.
Gwendolyn says, I wouldn't change a thing. That's answering the question that I had just posted, Sandra, which says, if you could be any other race, ethnicity, and gender, or remain a black woman, would you change from being a black woman? What say you, Sandra Lee?
Not for all the money in the world. Because the funny thing about it is just like I can't imagine myself nothing, even though I know I look like a lot of different people. What Sharon say, Denzel?
Denzel, swag. Yes, yes, definitely, Sharon.
um, but no, I love, even though I may get mistaken by different race of people. I have been told that I look like I am from Jerusalem. I am Puerto Rican. I am from Pakistan.
Pakistan. That's right.
All
I
of
remember
these,
the Pakistan one.
and when I start looking, and it can be true, but I stand firm with my feet on the ground. I am a black woman. Period.
You gotta prove you're a black woman. You're like,
And I
look,
have to
I
prove
got
my
my
ethnicity,
ancestry.com.
which is crazy. Which is crazy, and this is a little quick short story, a quick short story that was really a trip during 9/11 when everything happened, and the country was in an uprising, and everybody was so afraid of anybody from the Middle East because of what had taken place with 9/11. And I remember I was telling Sharon the story last week. I was in the 7-Eleven, and it just so happened that I was standing at the register with a gentleman, and I think he was from Pakistan, and we really favored a lot. He actually could have been my brother. And I was just standing there getting my Slurpee and paying for my Slurpee. It's like 2:30 in the morning. And in walked two good old boys. Well, how do you know they were good old boys? Because I'm from the South and I know what they look like. And the hair on the back of my neck stood up, because this was like maybe September 25th. It was still that rage in the air, and Americans didn't
That
trust
was only
anybody.
a week or so after 9/11.
Yeah, or maybe it was a week or so. I now, time's gone. I don't remember, but I just remember people were still very, very suspicious of who they thought was from the Middle East, right? So they were even like like doing damage to the gas stations and different things. They had kind of broke out in the violent stages. So when these two gentlemen walked in, I looked at them. They looked at me, and they looked at the young man behind the cash register, and the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I looked towards, I could see that they were driving a pickup truck, and I could see the gun rack with two rifles. Right now,
Mm.
I'd already paid for my stuff, or I was paying for my stuff, and they were watching me and him as if they thought that we were planning some big thing. It was one of the scariest feelings that I had ever encountered, which is so crazy because like stuff that black people have gone through for this discrimination and being, pointed out, it wasn't even because of that. It was because they thought that I was like Middle Eastern, and they were looking like that's what they were thinking. I got out of that store so quick. I was so afraid. I jumped in my car because I said it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was getting off my job. I jumped in the car and I left brother right in there, and I started driving, and I watching my mirror because I was just so afraid that they were going to follow me. But that was so crazy because I looked like this young man that was at the 7-Eleven store. I then, to their eyes, became these people that they looked at and thought that had done all this damage, and they just wasn't trusting people. So it was funny. I told Sharon, I said, wow, that's the first time I really felt that fear that you feel when you're being targeted for your race. And that was the wrong race. It wasn't even because they thought I was black.
Right.
It was because they thought I was racist. What in the world? But that was just crazy. But just, that was just a story that just really hit me. But just imagining, what black women, black men go through just on a daily basis because we do wear this complexion of skin, right?
Right.
It's just crazy. But again, I wouldn't trade it. I don't care who I look like. I'm a black woman, and I love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it either. Trials and all, I wouldn't trade it. Aisha says, there's a show I watched, and one of the characters, a black woman, had the opportunity to become a white woman. And at the end of her experience, she said she learned she didn't want to be white. And then it ends. Oh, she just didn't want to keep apologizing for being black. Yes.
Wow.
Apologizing for being black. Isn't that crazy? You got to apologize for something that you can't even control.
Wow.
Nobody can control what ethnicity, what race they're born into. Right? We don't have a choice in that.
Right.
But yet we're hated for it, something that we have no control over. So, okay. I'm going to, let's see. This is the last question I'm going to put up here. What's the next challenge for Black women to overcome? What do we think the next challenge is? And of course, there's many challenges to overcome.
Yeah.
And I'll start since I'm just throwing this question out, so you guys have to think about it. But put it in the chat. What's the next challenge? Big challenge we have to overcome. So for me, I'm gonna probably say a couple. One is, now I might get some backlash, and that's okay. But we got to be honest, right? So going on that premise, just being honest, we got to come to grips with our own issues, because we can't change what we deny.
Right.
We need to choose our partners, our husbands, boyfriends, to then be husbands, better. Just use that word.
Okay.
And I guess I should backtrack. Our self-esteem needs to improve. Therefore, we need to heal from our trauma, heal from our unhealed wounds. Then our self-esteem will be better, and we'll make better mate choices. Okay. Right? We have a lot of unwed mothers because of poor choices, right? Mm-hmm. And those choices are made because of our unhealed, issues. Trauma attracts trauma. We understand that. But that's why we need to get healed and go to therapy. Right. So then we can settle down with a mate who's not going to leave us, or who is, even if we get divorced, you're still a responsible parent.
Right.
Nobody's saying that, people, you get married, you can stay together forever. Whatever things happen, people get divorced. But our divorce has nothing to do with you being a father or a mother to your child. Right. And helping that child emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, and all of that. But that's not the part. That's not what I'm talking about. The parents who are doing that and co-parenting, right? Hey, kudos to you. But there's a large group of Black women who are single Black mothers who have deadbeat dads. Right. And yes, there's a responsibility of the deadbeat dad. He shouldn't be deadbeat, but you had the responsibility of not sleeping with him.
Right.
Right. And so
That's
we need to make better choices, but we need to be healed first.
right.
So therefore, we would make better choices and not just settle for someone just because I'm lonely, just because I'm desperate, just because I need someone to
Mm,
help heal me emotionally. When that person can't help heal you emotionally, you just
right.
feel good in that moment of that sexual interaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then he's gone. But now you're left with a child,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
healing. Black women we need to get healed. We need to go to therapy and get healed so we can have two-parent households. And even if it becomes a separated household, the father is still responsible for their child because you have married a responsible man,
Right.
regardless of whether the two of you stay together or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so my other thing is we need to get along better. I hear too many sisters talking about I don't like women. I don't have women friends. There's something wrong with that. That's an unhealed issue too. And dare I say we can trace it back to your relationship with your mom. Sometimes, we can't, but sometimes we can. Because there
Right.
might be trauma in that relationship with that woman with her mom from childhood. So
Mm-hmm.
all to say all of this, we need healing because there should be no reason why women can't be friends with one another or jealous and angry and bitter and backbiting and all that. There should be no reason for that. But that's all because I'm coming from an unhealed place that I'm now giving that on to you, this other woman that I can't be friends with because of all those because of unhealed issues.
Right.
So Sandra Lee, I'm going to read the chat. What do you think?
I think the challenge that Black women need to overcome is their our image of what the body now all of a sudden is supposed to look like. We've always had curves, we've always had an abundance, and now it seems because somebody said that we're supposed to look a certain way, and I'm not taking away if a person wants to enhance, but it's almost like everybody is now getting, surgery and they're looking alike
Mm-hmm.
physically, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and that's what was so great and what is one of the great things about being, a Black woman is our curves, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that glory, right?
Yes.
Um, I was listening to and what's this girl? She was talking about she didn't have to India Irie. I was listening to the song this morning. Uh, I'm not the average girl from the video.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not built like a supermodel, but I learned to love myself unconditionally
Right.
because I am a queen, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to that song, and she was saying something about, "Am I okay if I don't shave my legs? Am I okay if I don't shave my hair? And if I don't comb it?" And all of the things that she was saying, it was all right. And so you okay? You still a beautiful woman if you don't do these other things. And so I think the challenge now is to get back to, girl, you're beautiful. You don't need to have no extra jamming stuff inside your insides. You're beautiful the way you are. I don't know who said that it looks better this way,
Mm-hmm.
but get back to you beautiful, period. Without even having to
Absolutely.
go. Of course, if you want to enhance, ain't nothing wrong with enhance. And if people want to do how they want to do because it's their body, I get that. But I think the challenge now is all of a sudden everybody think that they're supposed to be looking a certain way. And
Right.
that's the thing about Black women. We just come in all shapes, sizes, curves, a whole lot, a little bit, extra, 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 extra. But now all of a sudden it's this new wave of going. So that's one of the things I think. What is that,
Okay.
Sharon? I can't, what is
Sharon
Sharon?
Montgomery says unlearn mediocrity. That's one of
Ooh,
the things
wait.
our Black women need to do next. Absolutely, Sharon. Absolutely.
Ooh.
And Netta says, true, sometimes we're like crabs in a pot. She's talking about with what the answer that I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honey Bunches says, next challenge is to overcome is less comparing and competing and more collaborating. We are better together.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
Honey Bunches,
Honey
absolutely.
Bunches is telling the truth.
Wanda says support each other. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wanda also says, stick together, support each other, and be truthful. Yes,
Yes.
we need to be honest with our sisters. That's why I said what I said earlier. We need to be honest, and we need to go somewhere and get some healing when we're
Right.
unhealed. There's no shame in it. The shame is I don't get healed when I know I have an issue, but I'm just going to be like this anyway. Now that's
Right.
shame, right? But there's no
Right.
shame in getting healed.
Right.
You want to be a better person, no matter how many hats you wear. Hat as a mom, hat as a whatever your profession is. You know, if you're a spouse, have friends, all those roles and more. You're going to be better coming from a
Absolutely.
healed place than you
Absolutely.
are from an unhealed place.
Right.
So thank you guys so much for your answers. Let's see right here. Aisha says, yes, honey bunches, the flower doesn't compete with the flower beside it. It just blooms. Go ahead,
Okay.
Aisha. You and I are trying to get an offering up in here.
Okay. What's going on? Come on, Mimi. And I want to hear from you next. Come on now. And keep
And
y'all come on. That's beautiful.
Netta says, yes, we are better together. Absolutely. One head is better than two heads are better than one. Come on now. And we are created to produce, right? And we have to be different in order to produce something. So I need you because you don't think like me. You put your thoughts together with mine. We create
Right.
something new and exciting.
Right.
And
Right.
so when we all get together, how much more can we create? You
Right.
know, and with all this brilliance that we have as Black women,
Absolutely.
come on now, we could be running the world if we just come
Absolutely.
together. Oh, so we're going to come together on this platform.
Okay.
Again, this is a movement, so we're going to take over. Okay, we Black women, we are going to take over. So we just
Hmm.
letting you all know right now. You've heard it here. What Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024, we are taking over. We are not settling for less. We are not, as Sharon said, we are not being mediocre because we do not settle for mediocre. I don't think
Right.
anybody in this chat is mediocre at all because I know pretty much everybody in this chat. So we're
No.
already above that. But our responsibility is to raise others up. And we know that.
Right.
That's why we're encouraging. You haven't seen anyone in this chat since this show began, or any of my shows began, who speak foul of one another, or even someone
Right.
else, or an entity, because that's not who we are. I
Right.
love the saying, and I can't remember if you remember somebody in the chat. If you remember, put the name in the chat because I hate not giving people credit. But one of my favorite quotes, and I say it all the time: "Small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas." We have
Oh,
too many small-minded people talking about people. Look all over social media. What is it? Gossip about other people's business.
right.
What and is tearing people down. Now, would we want the same to happen for our business, or when we made a mistake, or when we fell from grace? Would we want our business out there for people to gossip about us? No, we wouldn't. So why are we doing that
Right.
to other people? So, but all right, it's not on one, but I cannot go, Sandra Lee, because I know you have to go without putting this next thing up here. And let me find it real quick. Let me find it real quick. Just give me a second. This is a scripture that hold on. Let me get this. Oh, wait, honey bunches, did I miss your comment? We walk in the spirit of excellence. Yes, we do. Yes,
Yes,
we
we
do.
do.
So this all right. Give me a second. I have to find it. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me get that other one off the screen. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Now,
Yeah.
our frame is not. I can't read it because the thing is going too fast. But also, I could only put when you see the ellipses there. I could only put part of the scripture there because the thing only allows so many characters. But I'll just read that. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. So again, I had to take a couple of things out because it was, it only takes so many characters. So, but what I wanted to say about that is, first of all, God knew what He was doing when He made us. He didn't make
Period.
any mistakes. when he made us, all of us. And he
Right.
didn't make any mistake when he made the black woman, even though,
Right.
again, a black and race, that's a social construct. When he made us, but he knew we were going to have wider hips, bigger lips, all he knew, right? And so he made us that way, and every other woman and man the way he made them with purpose, right?
Right.
And
Hmm.
so there is no mistake. We are supposed to
Right.
look how we look, right?
Right.
God
Right.
does things in his own fashion, his own way, his own uniqueness, and that's how he made us. And let me just read this to you because I thought this was important. The Hebrew word translated for fearfully is yar, Y-A-R-E. I'm just pronouncing it yar, I'm not sure the pronunciation, which means to approach someone or something with deep respect, heartfelt interest, and great reverence. Some
Wow.
say that the verse encourages people to not take their existence or the existence of others for
Hmm.
granted and to be in awe of how God made them.
Wow.
We shouldn't be complaining about God, how God made the black woman
Right. Hmm.
with all that we embody, how we look, our beauty, our curves, our hair. We're so easy in our own people to tear down those exact things about us.
Right.
But that means we're going against God's word. He
Basically.
made our hair textured for a reason, for his purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And one of the things, um, help me, you guys in the chat, or Sandra, when braids initially started because from slavery, when it was there were signs and symbols that the other slaves could read when a person had their hair braided a certain way,
Right.
right? And it showed, okay, it's time to leave, we're going to like make our way of escape at midnight, right? And so strategic, are you kidding me? god
Okay.
cre- God knew slavery was going to happen, and he knew hair had to be coarse enough. They didn't have bundles back then where you could put fake hair. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't know. They might have used some twig stuff, but they probably didn't.
Yeah.
Right? So he knew the hair
Uh-huh.
needed to be coarse enough so it could be read of men, right? In order to
Yes.
escape. You can't do that with soft, fine hair because
Right.
it doesn't braid well. It's too soft.
Right.
Come on
Right.
now, y'all. We are made with a purpose.
For the
Sandra Lee, I
purpose.
know you got to go. I know you got to go. Let me just read these last
All
comments.
right. I'm all right.
Sandra says, Sharon says, is this the same one? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I went too far up. My bad. Honey Bunches says, we walk in
You
the
read
spirit of
that one
excellence
too.
already. Okay. Glory. Yes, Sharon. I know you over there praising the Lord. I can see you and I can hear you. Hasha. Right. Can't you hear her, Sandra? Sandra, you frozen? Oh, you might be frozen. Um, any last words, Sandra? I think you might be frozen. I'm not sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think Sandra Lee might be frozen. So I am going to remove her from the screen. And thank you so much for joining us this evening. This was a great conversation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of the show and engaging with us. Your answers were tremendous, great insight. Thank you so much for sharing your views and your perspectives as Black women, and Kevin being a Black man in our chat. Thank you so much. Join us next week when we have Dr. Randolph Walters on, and he is going to be talking about our topic, which is Black women and their fathers. He is an expert in fatherhood and women and Black women, whether your father was an absentee father and how that affected the Black woman, or whether your father was in the home and how that affected the Black woman. He's an expert on racial trauma. He's an expert on trauma. And so he has a wealth of information. I've had him on my Race Matters show several times last year. And so he's going to talk about Black women and their fathers. That's next Wednesday. Join us on the 12th at 8 p.m. We love to have you there to share your questions also too with Dr. Randolph. If you have any questions in advance, you can always email them to fulllifecommunications@gmail.com, fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. Send your questions in advance to Dr. Walters if you have a a question that you want to ask because it's about Black women and their fathers. So think about some questions in advance, and you know, I'll share that with him, and as well as once he's on the air with us, then you can ask your questions live. Wanda says, thank you so much for watching. You too, Wanda. Sharon says, have a blessed week. Melatonin Beauties. Oh, I love that, Sharon. Melatonin Beauties. Netta says, great show. Honey Bunches says, great show. Ladies, thank you guys so much. We love you. God bless you. You guys have a God evening, a God week, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Shalom.